about an hour ago. I just got right to my head. Wherever I may roam.
Shark! The shark!
Now what?
Michael's in the pub.
Hurry up, get that done.
I can't do a damn thing until
Get that rope
get this undone.
Get that untangled up there.
Help.
I'm doing it.
Hey, fellas! Fellas! All in the sheet! Make it fast! Hey, you guys. You guys okay over there?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Reanimation. In this episode of Reanimation, I will be reviewing video games based on the Jaws horror movie series. Before I begin, there are a few things I want to go over. Back in 1916, there were a series of shark attacks off the Jersey Shore. A rogue shark attacked swimmers in the ocean, then continued its killing spree in a nearby creek. This is the true story from which Jaws is based on. How about that? It's an actual true story that occurred. When Jaws was released, it was the first movie to break the box office, ranking in $470 million in 1975. That's a lot of fucking money for back then. People were absolutely fucking terrified to go into the ocean. In fact, after the release of this movie, people started to hunt great white sharks. The great white became endangered. It was almost driven into extinction. I mean, this is a mythical creature that we're talking about. Those are just a few things that you probably didn't know. Let's take a look at how this movie converted over to the wonderful world of video games. The first game ever to be released was called Shark Jaws. It was an arcade unit released by Atari. This is something that you would see in a local pub. I don't even know what to say. I feel as though I'm watching someone shit into their hand and force feed it to themselves, whilst smearing it all over their face. The sheer sight of this game makes my stomach violently twist and contort in disgust. My fucking god. Think about the poor fucking sap that dropped 2 quarters into this machine, thinking to himself, man, video games sure are great. I'll tell you, they're never gonna beat these graphics. Shortly after playing, he goes into cardiac arrest and slips away, never knowing what video games are like in this day and age that we live in today.
Scooped up by Clutterbuck. They've taken the heat off again. The clock still moves. Heads to the front. Score! What an impressive goal shorthanded.
You may be sitting there asking yourself, I wonder what this game sounds like. That's a good question. There's some technological circuit board answer as to why the sound doesn't convert over to an emulator. So I'm gonna let this dickhead tell you what this game sounds like.
Well, first there was the sound of the whale vocalizations, which we expected. And then there was what we now understand to be the priming of the sonar weapon. And then there was a moment of silence, and this proved to be the calm before the storm, because then it was BAM! it was pretty awful to listen to.
Moving along, next we have Jaws the computer game for the Amiga. Whatever you do, don't let this shortcut scene give you any false hope. There is nothing three-dimensional about this game at all. In fact, there is nothing fun about this game at all. Your main objective is to kill Jaws. Go figure. To be able to defeat the Great White, a set of puzzle pieces that construct a gun must be collected in and around this vast part of the ocean, in addition to the bullets. While searching for these pieces, you have to be very attentive. You have to view the map, pay attention to shark attacks, close down beaches. This game is actually very fucking difficult. I'm at a loss for words. See, I have a cracked version of this game which allows me to use cheats, basically giving me a god mode per se. The only problem I'm having is I can't find a reason to want to play this piece of shit. Next, we have Jaws box office for the Commodore 64. Let me begin by explaining to you how complex of a procedure it is to get this game to run on a computer. That's with the use of an emulator. First, you have to load up Disc 1 into the emulator, which is a digital version of a cassette tape. Downloaded versions of this game are cracked in order to override a copyright security feature. A copyright security feature for a cassette-based video game. Wow, that's some pretty intense security for this time period. When you get lucky enough to figure out the buttons that allow you to start the game, you are finally greeted with a slide-oriented intro screen. After the intro is done, you're prompted to load up side 2 of the cassette and hit return. It took me a little bit to figure out how to get this to work on an emulator. It's as if you're flipping a digital version of the cassette. Half of the struggle is getting this piece of shit to run. Trust me when I say, it is only the beginning. On my first run through of this game, I found out that you're supposed to pick a destination which takes you to a boat scene. Unaware of what to do, I ran out of gas. Several shitty attempts later, I learned that you're supposed to pick the first destination as if you're traveling to each destination in a sequential order. As you're approaching the dock, you have to manually slow the boat down. It's a point and click game. I crashed into this fucking harbor several times until I learned there are 2 sequences which the boat must be slowed down, just as if you're driving a real fucking boat. Once you finally manage to get to the destination, there are several buildings that you can enter. The mayor is of no help. The telegram you can read is fucking useless. Then there's the corner store where you can purchase gas, food, weapons, and take boating classes. Mrs. Puff! Mistakenly, I took the classes, and let me tell you, it's a fucking sight to see. Here you can learn how to shoot sharks that are swimming about. At this point you're broke. Now it's time to head out to sea and go fishing. The message board flashes text that tells you whether you're headed towards sharks or not. If there's no sharks, you have to change the direction of which your boat is going by using the compass. One time I got lucky enough to head towards sharks, so I stopped the boat as soon as I saw the message. I clicked everywhere there was to click on the fucking screen, and it did absolutely nothing. So if you're supposed to hunt sharks, I don't know how the fuck to do it. The only thing left to do now is to run this bitch out of gas. I'm officially renaming this game to Boat Simulator 3000 because the only thing you can do in this fucking game is drive a boat. Next we have a very obscure Commodore 64 game called Jaws, created by MX Outlaw Software. Honestly, this game is pretty cool for what it is. Although there isn't much here, it's pretty fucking awesome to be able to play the role of the shark. Somebody finally got it right. Just let people play as the shark, eating everything in sight. Even if you are just swimming up and down the coast, chomping on what appears to be little stick figures. I mean, the concept is still there. It's just a shame that nobody took this idea, elaborated on it, and ran with it during this time period. I would have had a pretty fucking awesome game growing up. I don't think there's any NES LJN game that needs introduction on YouTube. Anyone who has seen the Angry Video Game Nerd's review of Spielberg games knows that this game is monotonous, repetitive, and it lacks content. But, were you aware that this game can be beaten in under 4 minutes? It's odd thinking back on it now. I found Friday the 13th also could be beaten in under 4 minutes. The Karate Kid, another LGN game, can also be beaten in under 4 minutes. Coincidence? Or is there some method to this madness? It feels calculated to me. To defeat Jaws in under 4 minutes, you have to acquire a power level of 3 and get the submarine. The submarine will appear in one of 3 locations when the player achieves 30,000 points in the game. When you start the game, you want to come to this area. Before you leave this area, you need to get at least 4,500 points. In the next area, you need to have a total of 15,000 points before the game forces you into the bonus stage. One of the most stressful parts about this run is that getting points is completely fucking random. You have to kill enemies and collect what they drop. Stars give you the most points, but even their value is randomly generated. During the bonus stage, you have to hit every jellyfish that appears below. Hitting every jellyfish gives you 5,000 points, and the full completion gives you an additional 10,000 points once you complete the stage. Doing so will bring your total score to 30,000 points. Upon completing the bonus stage, you have to come up to this level up area and wait to enter until you see Jaws. It has something to do with avoiding entering another underwater level on your way to leveling up. When you leave this level up area, you have to go and get the submarine and make your way back to the spawn. Return and level up one more time before the final battle. To beat Jaws, you have to shoot him with cannonballs. You have to move back and forth and shoot Jaws at a slow pace. For whatever reason, you can't defeat Jaws if you just button mash cannonballs at him. To defeat Jaws in the final cutscene, you have to hit B when the shark is in just the right spot, then hit A to stab him with the boat. The angry video game nerd went over the fact that this scene that you just saw is from Jaws 4: The Revenge.
Smile, you son of a bitch!
After watching both of these together, I can't even fucking tell you which one is worse. I'm half tempted to say that the movie scene might be worse than the LJN version of it. That's pretty fucking sad. Of course, I saved the best for last. This game is called Jaws Unleashed, and it was released for the original Xbox, PlayStation 2, and PC. Holy fuck. All I can say is this is the game that I was waiting for. This is exactly what I wanted in a Jaws video game. It's an open world game where you actually get to play as the fucking shark. As the shark, you can do missions or you can just cruise around the island eating and destroying as you see fit. This game actually follows logic. As a shark, you must eat to live. When you don't eat, your life bar goes down, requiring you to shred apart some poor little fucking dolphin.
For the first time.
My favorite part of this game is when the shark is captured and kept in a SeaWorld environment. This chapter is based on Jaws 3, which is legendary for having some of the most craptacular scenes of all fucking time. beginning part of this chapter stumped me a little bit because you're trapped in this enclosure. It took me quite a few attempts to figure out that you're supposed to kill a scientist, grab him, and drag him over to this card reader to open up a door.
I don't want to die!
Make it! Never going to make it! Where is it?
That's some pretty intricate shit for a mindless killing machine, man. After this, it's an all-out escape. Once you get to the end of this level, you have to battle an orca. That's right, you have to fucking kill Shamu, and it's legendary. As cool as that was, it's scientifically inaccurate. The great white is not the most feared creature in the ocean. Believe it or not, it's the orca. And the great white cannot kill the orca. What? You don't believe me? Just listen to these assholes.
What could be worse than the great white? The nightmare shark, the master monster. Row upon row of flesh-tearing teeth. Gobbler of gullible bathers at beaches. Cruelest of killers, as the movie Jaws has burned into our brains. A fearless bully, for he has none to fear. Or does he? One sunny day near California's coastal islands, where about 100 great whites gather for 2 months every fall to dine on the sumptuous sunbathing seals, a tourist boat chanced on a surprising display.
Is he eating the shark? Oh my god!
A biologist was radioed. He rushed to the scene. When he got there, the great white beast was just scattered gobbets of flesh floating like flotsam. But what had happened? It soon became clear the fatuous fish had met his match. A magnificent mammal, orca the killer whale, apex predator. The wolf of the sea had dispatched the fish-brained and shameful shark who'd been loitering, lurking near the landlubber's boat.
There was a splash and then nothing.
There was no blood, there was no thrashing around.
This is really, really strange.
The biologist was baffled.
It was unprecedented. We just had no idea that could happen.
Soon scientists worldwide scrambled and studied, followed sharks and orcas year after year, and finally found how this marvelous mammal with its prodigious brain has shark sushi for lunch.
The orca are very, very smart, and they'll look at a particular prey item and they'll understand, okay, I need to attack it in such a way.
Argentina, they sneak up on seals on the sand. Antarctica, make waves, wobble the seal into the water. New Zealand, blow bubbles to root out a ray. But sharks, the fiercest of fish to fillet?
There's different populations of orca around the world that specialize in hunting for sharks, and they hunt in a number of different ways. They will corral the sharks up, but it is dangerous for them to hunt sharks. They do it very carefully.
They found that when the orca bumps the great white, flipping it onto its back, it's a pussycat, slumbering sweet for the sampling.
The animal goes into this sleep, basically unconscious. If you turn a white shark upside down, it probably can't continue to breathe like that. Their learning abilities are so great that if one of them happen to do it and see that they kind of freeze or go into this state, they could communicate it to the other ones. And they might then get a hunting technique up that does this.
Oh, and one other thing happened the day of the attack. Those 100 great whites feeding and feasting had all fled in a flash. A great crowd of cowards, not a fin to be seen.
They were more afraid of being there than they were about missing an entire season of feeding. So that's pretty remarkable.
In a sea of shitty shark games, there lies one amazing game. It's hard to believe, but this game only got a 2 rating on the GameStop scale. Only a 2? After every game you witnessed prior to this one, does it really only deserve a rating of 2? I don't think so. You're probably still baffled by the fact that the orca beats the great white, aren't you? Well, would you believe that there was an orca movie that tried to rival Jaws? One thing is certain, the orca didn't defeat the great white at the box office. Before I leave you with the trailer, as always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.
The ancient Romans called him Orca Orcinus, Latin for bringer of death. He is without challenge the most powerful animal on the globe, the killer whale. Orca has 48 teeth, set in 2 impressive rows. In some respects, the orca's intelligence may be even superior to man's. They remain loyal to one mate for life. As parents, they are exemplary, better than many human beings, and like human beings, they have a profound instinct for vengeance. An innocent creature is destroyed by an act of human cruelty, and the ultimate battle of man against nature begins. Dino De Laurentiis presents Orca.
Can you commit a sin against an animal?
He followed you. He saw you on the deck of the boat.
They always remember the human being who had tried to harm them.
He deliberately left you your boat because he wants to fight you on the sea.
I won't do that.
Now the fish have vanished from the fishing grounds. And it's all because of your whale.
In fact, I won't fight him at all.
You're not even man enough to accept the excitement of his challenge.
I'll fight you! You're a vengeful son of a...
Orca, starring Richard Harris, Charlotte Rampling, Will Sampson, Keenan Wynn. A spectacular adventure. From the depths of the sea to the top of the world.
It's going to be a fair fight on equal terms.
A fight to the death.
Nolan!
Between the 2 most dangerous animals on Earth.
What in hell are you?
Man and orca.